If it makes you money or brings us happiness, you'll find it right here. This is The Purple Tie Show. Welcome to this episode of the Purple Tie Guys podcast. I'm Robert Martin.
And I'm Blake Singleton.
And we're going to continue. If you listen to last week's podcast, we started talking about the eight SEO trends for 2020. Now, I have to go back because we were talking about influencer marketing in the last one.
Yeah.
How is influencer marketing an SEO trend again?
They were saying that you would just pay for them to market for your company. So it's more like a marketing trend instead of an SEO trend.
So there's a flaw in the... Okay, moving on. So the fifth thing... let's recap 1 through 4, shall we?
Number 1 was voice
search.
Number 2 was featured snippets. Number 3 was influencers. Number 4 was Bert.
Poor little Bert, got left out there at the very end. Number 5.
What is number 5?
People want digital experiences.
Yes. Well, okay. So someone asked me a while back what the difference between UI and UX was. And I found the perfect picture for it today. And
we'll use it. We'll use it in this podcast. We'll put it in the thing.
But it was a picture.
Notes.
It was 2 pictures of Heinz ketchup bottles. One was the old glass bottle, and one was the squeeze bottle.
Well, you know what? And the old glass bottle was fine. It worked.
That was the UI, user interface.
But the UX,
the user experience, that was the squeeze bottle,
upside down squeezy bottle.
Yeah, and it makes perfect sense because that glass bottle worked. It worked. It was slow. It didn't always come out the way you wanted it to, but it worked.
And it was a great way to transport
ketchup,
the item to the table.
Yes.
Without it getting everywhere.
Yes.
But the squeeze bottle...
It makes the experience easier. It makes it easier to control the amount of ketchup, where it goes, blah, blah,
and
blah.
I
blah,
would
blah.
be eager. So I would be eager... Well, this is kind of my own demented thinking. I kind of be eager to see what the sales did, right? Like, because you put it in a squirt bottle, so it's easier to get more out and like load up that French fry. Because, you know, the little restaurants that give you like the little cups and you just fill up like 8 of them and then you throw 4 of them away.
Side tangent. Have you seen the life hack where the little paper cup actually unfolds?
Yes, I don't understand these life hacks.
Yeah, a lot of them don't actually help you in any meaningful way.
But I would be eager to see, if that increased sales.
So, coming back to the digital experience that they are wanting, like customers are wanting, basically, it's just making your website easier to use. Yep. Make sure it loads fast. Make sure you got good content. Make sure that if you are trying to sell something, that you make it clear what the next step is.
Yep. The other thing is complex words.
Okay.
That's in there too. Like, because if you use complex words as a society, and I'm sure this has changed, 4 or 5 years ago, as a society, we, as a whole, on average, read on an 8th grade level.
Oh, I thought it was 6th grade. That's
Maybe
great.
It was 6th grade.
No, we're moving up. 8th grade's better.
Well, I know, but it may have been 6th grade. Like, it may have been...
So you're saying that not only do you need to make the web pages pretty, fast, and easy to follow, you also need to use easily understood phrasing.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I am really bad about this. I will use a really okay, so like wouldn't,
right?
Right? In apostrophe T,
Yeah.
right? it would be easier to type out would not, because wouldn't is it's harder for people to read and understand. So in marketing letters, in the old school days, in marketing letters, you would never use contractions. It would be, you would spell out everything. So, couldn't would be could not. You should not live without this, thing.
Ain't would be is not.
Ain't is, in Alabama, you know what? I'm not going there. But that's what they're alluding to, is just, make sure that it's readable by the masses. You're not using some, fancy term, because breast augmentation.
Well, I didn't want to go with boob job.
Well, no.
During the previous podcast.
But you could have said, breast lift, right?
Yeah.
Because that, tummy tuck instead of, whatever the medical term, which I'm sure it's like 18,000 characters long.
Yeah.
And full of consonants, which really annoys me. But, augmentation is a pretty, not everybody's going to know, that that's a boob job. They're going to be like, oh, well, what is that?
Okay, fair enough.
So that's number 5 is, they want digital experiences. So they don't want to just go to your website. So the way I'm looking at this is, there's a difference between going to your website and having an experience when you go.
Well, that sort of rolls into the whole website refresh for 2020 that I was going to talk about in another podcast, where website speed, making sure it's finger friendly. Thumb friendly was a big big term back in the early 2000s.
Finger friendly.
Yeah. So that it's got a easy to use touch interface.
Okay. Okay, we've reduced websites to finger foods. Is basically what we've.
Yeah, that's not what I said, but okay.
We'll talk about. I know you're like chomping at the bit to talk about these design trends.
Well, I was just going to mention them I was going to mention some of them briefly because it ties into it. Speed and user interface are two of the big ones that they wanted to bring up.
So with the finger thing, basically they're saying make options a little larger, make text fields a little bigger so that you can click in it with your finger. I know what. So one of the places that we order print materials from, their username, password, sign-in thing.
Oh yeah, it's microscopic.
It's microscopic on an iPad. Now on a computer, it's fine.
Yeah.
But the minute you go on a touch device, it's just like, oh nope, I touched the password thing. Oh nope, I touched the.
Yeah.
Nope, that. You know what? Screw it. I'm not going to mess with this.
I'm not going to do this. Yeah.
Their user experience is really bad.
Yeah.
It would be like if the ketchup squirted on you every time you open the squirt bottle. I would say that that's a bad user experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Number 6.
It's kind of like squeeze relish. No one. Okay.
Why? Why is that a thing?
I have no idea. Number 6. Video will be the new king of content.
That's why I was like, so again, going back to the whole website refresh, a lot of the stuff that they are saying is going to be trends in 2020 have been trends for the last 3 years.
Having video on your front page of your website makes Google index it better.
Yeah.
It's a better result in their eyes because it has video, because people want they want interaction.
Exactly.
Interactive. That goes back to the previous thing where they want an experience. They want to go watch a little video about your company.
Yeah.
They want to go watch a little video about your procedures. They don't want to, just read about it. So that's part of the experience. But video, and this kind of rolls into another podcast that we'll do later, where you can utilize your content in more than one way.
You can utilize the same content in more than one way.
Right. So let's say you write an amazing blog post all about,
Bert.
No, not Bert. I will hit you.
You wrote an amazing article about Bert.
So let's say you wrote an amazing article about, mommy makeovers.
Okay.
Right. That's a big thing. So you wrote this beautiful article about mommy makeovers. It's about 2,000 words. You go really in depth and you really explain it. Well, you take that article and you make it into a podcast. Mm-hmm. Because basically this is just an article that we're making into a podcast.
Right.
You take that podcast and you turn it into a video presentation on YouTube.
Yeah.
So what we do is we'll write a beautiful blog post, and then we'll push that blog post to Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and like all these other places to get people to come look at our content.
Yeah, our podcast is a really good example of using a single piece of content in multiple different ways. We record this podcast audio only, but I convert it to video to upload to YouTube. And we post it in a blog post on our website that also gets pushed out, like you said, to all these other places that has links back to the audio. It's a single bit of content that's being used on 3 different mediums.
Well, not just mediums, like, gosh, think about it. Okay, so 3 different mediums and like several different platforms.
Yeah.
So just because it says video is
King.
The new king
Of content.
It doesn't have to be you in front of a camera talking about, a silicone implant. It could just be a podcast that is linked to, a video presentation, or, for us, we're going to start doing some training videos where we record, the computer screen and kind of walk people through some of the steps that we do. And so that can be great content.
Yes.
Or did you black out for just a second?
I blacked out for just a second. I got the blurry vision going on.
So,
but something else that you can think about is you don't have to be in front of the camera. It can be just video of whatever you want to talk about. It could be, we made a video made entirely out of stock footage for somebody.
Yes.
With just voiceover.
We did. We also made, we had a doctor that made a video all about, the surgery and just using, props and flip charts and like went through the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think he was in front of the camera for all of like 30 seconds at the beginning and like 30, maybe 15 seconds at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't. So before you're like, I don't want to be on camera, because I hate being on camera. I know you are just like, you're the face of the company and whatever. Don't like being in front of the camera.
And a lot of people don't. That's why you've got all these other options. For a little while, we were doing whiteboard video animations.
We were also talking about turning this podcast into a video podcast. Like once a month, we do a video podcast.
And we may still. I mean, it's 2020 at this point, and
it's one of the 8 things that's going to be big this year.
Yeah, I mean, we should probably jump on that bandwagon.
I mean, we've been creating video for a very long time. So, but yeah, just. So know that video is your new content king.
Let's read off some stats real quick. According to Forrester Research, video is 50 times more likely to show up on the first page of the search engine results page than a web page with plain text. 62% of Google's universal searches include video.
Now, hang on before you go. How many times have you searched something on Google and like 4 YouTube videos pop up?
I can't stand it. I got an Instant Pot for Christmas, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm looking up recipes to make in my Instant Pot. And I'm in the middle of the grocery store trying to figure out what I want to get for dinner.
And here's 4 YouTube videos.
Here's 4 YouTube videos that I don't want. I just want a recipe for, cheesecake or whatever.
Why are you having cheesecake for dinner? And where am I?
Listen, I don't want none of your back talk about the cheesecake, all right? But that's my point. It's like I'm looking for something specific. I just need recipes, Just give me the words with the things in it that I need. And here's, a 15-minute video of how to make whatever in the Instant Pot.
Let me show you how to make the macaroni and cheese.
No, just tell me. I am perfectly capable of reading a recipe.
Nothing? You got nothing about that?
You were contesting my knowledge of recipes.
Or your knowledge of reading, one or the other.
Okay, so next point is content length will determine search rankings.
Okay. This one makes me a little upset. Not mad. Just I wish you'd get your crap together, because used to 500 word articles were okay.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Then it became, those weren't great. Mm-hmm. Had to be 1,000 words or above. Now they're saying 2,000 plus words. Am I reading that right? 2,000?
At least 2,000 words. Yep. The average length of the top 10 results will be at least 2,000 words.
However, didn't we just talk about attention span and how people would rather see video and...
Yeah, here's the thing, right? Long form content has been coming for a while. I don't know how much I put stock in 2,000 word articles, because let me tell you.
That's a long article.
When you go to Medium and you start reading, they give you an estimate on how long it's going to take to read the article. If it's more than about 5 minutes, I'm not going to read it.
I'll move on.
I will.
A lot of have you noticed that Facebook has started being like 1 minute read?
I hadn't noticed that, but that's what I'm talking about.
But if it's like 5 minute read, I'm like, I don't have 5 minutes to invest in this.
There's articles on Medium that are like 15-minute read, 30-minute read, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to sit there and read for 30 minutes. But on the flip side of that, we talk about my favorite D&D show on YouTube all the time.
Right.
And it's a 4-hour-long episode once a week. Once a week for 4 hours at a whack. And it's every week.
Yeah, but you also, don't you watch it spread out over like a couple of days?
Yeah, because there's no way I can dedicate a 4-hour block of time to watch the thing. But I do end up watching it over the course of 2 or 3 days. So I guess
they could come back and read it over the course of a few days.
If I was that interested in the article, I could come back and read it over the course of a couple of days. But I have a hard time retaining stuff if I'm reading it and I come back to it. I have to reread what I've.
That's the issue I have with that's why I love audiobooks. There's something about an audiobook that I can continue on to the next chapter in another day and still be okay with that. But if I'm reading a physical book, I'm like, crap, I got to go back and read chapter 1 to figure out what's going on in chapter 2. And by the time I get to chapter 5, it's just... That's Grant Cardone, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just...
I don't know.
I forget about it.
I don't know how many times I've been listening to an audiobook and I have to stop for whatever reason. Because I listen to them all the time, especially whenever I'm out in public, like shopping.
So you don't have to interact with people.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons. But if I ever get to the checkout lane, I always stop my book and take out my earpods.
Your earphone?
My earphone. My AirPods. Because it's rude, right? To get up to...
It drives me nuts when people walk up and they got their AirPods in so you can't tell if they're listening to something.
Yeah.
And they just start jabbering at you.
Yeah.
And you're like, are you listening to me or are you listening to the thing?
Right. So, but I will stop a audiobook mid-sentence sometimes and come back to it a day and a half later. And within just a second or two, I'll be like, oh, I know exactly where I am now. I remember exactly what I had just listened to 2 days ago.
Nah, I need to be like more like a few hours.
It's very easy for me to
do the whole next day thing.
It's almost like somebody's telling you. I mean, it's exactly like somebody's telling you a story, but
that's the point of an audiobook.
It's like whenever someone is telling you a story and then you have to leave for a couple of days and you come back and they're like, "Hey, you remember what I was telling you about so and so?" "Oh yeah, I remember that." "Well, let me tell you what else happened."
Yeah, I guess I could see that. I am definitely not a come back a couple days, because if I come back a couple days, I got to go back a chapter because I have forgotten what happened the previous chapter. And so I don't know how much faith I put in this long content, long form content at 2,000 words. And, we have a lot of doctors who want to do their own content.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like, do you really truly have time to write a 2,000 word, write and research a 2,000 word article?
Yeah. And is it going to be written with, because the whole reason they hire us is for SEO and marketing. Is it going to be written with SEO and marketing in mind, or are you just going to be writing for the content?
And to be worse than, to kind of, add insult to injury, it has to be conversational.
Yeah.
So how do you make a conversational article 2,000 words?
Well, I just looked up the average time to read 2,000 words, and I'm a little ashamed. It's 7 minutes.
That's a 7-minute read. Yeah. I'm still probably not. I'll dedicate about 5 minutes.
Am I interested?
If I'm really interested, I'll read.
Yeah, I'll read a 7-minute article.
A 7-minute article. The next, and is this the last one? Wait, no. Video, content length. Man, we are on the last one.
These went by a lot faster than I anticipated them going by.
Well, this last one, though, will probably just beat to death. Mobile search will continue to take over. No, duh.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Obvious. It is, people don't, I use this in my lecture. I know I keep going back to that lecture that was 2 months ago. But when I was explaining how the cell phones have affected the way we do business and the way we have to market and that, I asked the members there, the doctors there, how many of you on the way here nearly were killed by somebody texting or looking at YouTube or whatever stupid thing on their phone while they're driving?
Right, yeah.
Everybody raised their hand.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you seen someone... Dude, I was at Publix the other day picking up fresh produce. And this dude pulls up. I was on the phone, right? I was on the phone. And this dude pulls up beside the car and is straight up, like nearly hits the side of my car, right?
Are you parked or are you moving?
I am parked. Okay. I am parked in a parking space, and he like whips in really quick, like into this parking space beside me, dang near hits the side of my car and everything else. And I look over, and he's literally got his phone. Gosh, this is where we need video. He's literally holding his phone like a landscape, like a TV.
Yeah.
Watching something.
Yeah.
And like laughing, and I thought, oh well, it's a stupid little video. No. Dude sat there. My phone call lasted another 5 minutes or so. Dude sat there and watched like 5 minutes worth of video or more. And I'm like, okay, so you were watching this while you were driving, because it's obvious because you wheeled in. I was parked as far out in the parking lot as you could get. So he wheeled in off the road, slammed into a parking spot. He had to have been watching it while he was driving down the road.
At least somewhat, yeah. Sometimes.
So it's like, No, duh. Mobile is going to be the new, I mean, so I have a MacBook Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And I love my MacBook Pro. But I recently ordered a keyboard, which should be coming in on Monday, that converts my iPad into a miniature notebook.
Yes.
Like almost like a MacBook Air.
Yep.
And I will use that. I use my iPad a lot. And that's considered a mobile device because the screen is smaller.
Well, it is not smaller. It is slightly large. It is slightly smaller than a MacBook 13-inch.
So, but I work on a MacBook 16, and so the iPad 12.9, when I first got it, felt massive. I was like, man, this thing is like, wielding around a cinder block all day. And now I'm like, probably can't go back to a smaller iPad because it'd be teensy.
Yeah.
But still, it's considered a mobile device. And I have issues where certain things don't display properly in Chrome on my iPad. If you go to Safari, it's a little bit better, but there's still some things that just doesn't work across the board. Doesn't matter what browser you're in.
But see, mobile devices are becoming so ubiquitous. Everyone has mobile devices. Before mobile first design was a thing, we had WAP pages. WAP. Do you remember those?
It was a disaster.
It was a disaster, but it was websites designed specifically for mobile phones. Back whenever it was, a 1-inch by 1-inch screen, and all you could have was text and pictures with a white background. I mean, there was no design for that. You basically just stripped away all of the design work and had words and photos. But they've been taking over consumption for years now.
Yeah.
I had a cell phone when I was 16. That was 21 years ago. And that was before they
How does that make you feel?
I mean, whatever.
Hey, my first phone was a bag phone, and it did good to
but it didn't have
the digits.
Yeah, I was about to say, it didn't have a screen on it. Mine at least had a small blocky screen.
Yeah.
But internet access on mobile devices wouldn't come for another couple of years after that. And even then, it was garbage. I mean, I hated using the internet on my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, and now, the internet went out at the office a couple of days ago. And I was like, well, I really need to get this finished. Phone, hotspot, connect. Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
And so it's come a long way. And I feel like the more, we're talking about 5G right around the corner. So I think that the more progression we make progression in building better technology, building faster phones, building faster mobile web browsing, it's gonna be something that you absolutely have to think about when you start designing anything, not just your website. We're talking about marketing material, emails. How many email campaigns have you seen that they look one way on the computer and then you open them up on your phone and you have to scroll like
I hate that.
5 miles
I won't
this
read
way?
it.
I won't either. I'll trash it. And it can be from somebody that I really want to read, like an article from Search Engine Land or Search Engine Journal or one of the, and I'm like, man, I really want to read that because, the headline caught my attention, but it looks like crap on the phone. I don't have time for this. Done. And
what really gets me are line breaks.
Oh yeah.
Where you go to the end and there's 1 or 2 words on the next line and then it breaks and then there's the rest of the sentence on another line. And it's like
it makes reading really difficult.
You couldn't take the time to why did you put those line breaks in to begin with? You don't have to. The screen will format that for you.
So I feel I have a hard time following along in the first place. And then you start, putting 2 words here and then the next sentence is, 8 spaces down. And then it's only, it's like 2.5 sentences and the other sentence is like another line. And it's just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. It drives me up the wall. It's crazy. So this says, in conclusion,
just when you think you fully understand SEO, algorithm updates happen. And today's SEO is a holistic process. It requires both offline and online marketing strategies. Invest in SEO's long-term strategy. Blah 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 blah.
So
let's just
recap. This is the only statement in this entire article that is accurate, like 100% accurate. Like, just when you think you understand SEO, Google releases an algorithm change.
It's
exactly.
So it's so true.
But if they didn't, you'd have somebody that mastered it, and then it would be like the Wild Wild West of back when the internet first started, right? And you could get Google ads, stupid cheap. You'd throw up a, crappy website that looked like junk to sell, your magical widgets. You'd throw an ad up, you pay, 5 cents a click, and you make a fortune. And you could game the system. Like, it was stupid easy to game the system. And so Google had to go, you know what? Y'all need to calm down. You know what? We'll make you calm down. Here's an algorithm change.
Here's the thing. Back in the day, the first time I really knew that search engine optimization was a thing, I had to have been 16 or 17 at the time, looking around on the internet, and you come to this page that has this giant block of color at the bottom of the page, either white or black or whatever. And you're like, what the heck is this? And then you would just drag your mouse, click and drag, and it would highlight all these words at the bottom.
Keyword stuffing.
And that came around whenever PageRank was introduced way back when. And Google had to counteract that. They were like, okay, you want to turn the words the same color as the background color? Fine. Algorithm now detects that. You get dropped.
Yep. You'll get penalized. Because of it. Yeah. So, algorithm updates are a thing. And it's the way that Google helps, ensure that the top 10 search results are accurately relevant to what you're searching for.
Yeah.
If you were searching for, braces, let's just take, orthodontist, for instance. Let's say you were searching for braces and you find articles about implants. Well, that's not what you were looking for.
No, you're looking for braces.
You're not looking for a general cosmetic dentist thing. You're looking for an orthodontist. You're looking for braces. Same thing with a plastic surgeon. If you searched for, plastic surgery or breast augmentation, and 2/3 of the stuff that popped up was about mammograms and stuff. It's like, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this other. And so Google had to, work on those algorithms to ensure that the relevance of the search results were accurate and provided the best answer to the searcher's question.
Yeah.
I know that was really technical.
No, I mean, it was easy to follow.
So, what was the rest of it? It was algorithm update, and what was the other, one of the other?
I don't know. I want to recap all this stuff because there was a lot of stuff in this article.
We threw a bunch of stuff at them.
So, recap, voice search.
Very important.
Featured snippets. This is from last week.
I love featured snippets.
Influencer marketing, which is garbage.
Despise influencer marketing.
Bert. My man Bert. Google the Bert.
Dude, I can't wait until they have the algorithm update for Ernie.
Yeah, exactly.
God,
kids,
we're stupid.
Ask Sesame Street who Bert and Ernie are. People want, number 5, what we started on today. People want digital experiences. Number 6, video will be content. Video will be the new king of content. Number 7, content length will determine search rankings.
I'm not 100% on that one. But
and number 8, mobile search will continue to take over.
And again, no crap.
See, that's what I was saying last week. It seems like the people that are predicting the trends for 2020 just took the trends from 2019 and were like, you know what, this is good enough.
Yeah, we'll just refresh it. We'll add some new words, change colors,
Yeah, exactly.
make it a thin font instead of bold.
So next week, I think we're going to talk about website refreshes.
Website design and website refreshes. And I think that you're really the artsy.
Yeah, but there's lots of
person
stuff in there that I want your opinion on and to get your thoughts on.
I'm full of opinions.
That is the truth.
If you'd like to see more of my opinions, you can do so online at purpletieguys.com and Purple Tie Guys anywhere on the World Wide Web. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, pretty much everywhere. So
probably even somewhere on the dark web.
I'm going to leave on that note.